Hey, everybody, welcome back. This is Ken Clark, lead private practice coach at semiprivatepractice.com. We're excited you're here. We love helping solo and group practitioners launch and grow practices. Today, we are covering a very important legal filing, one that's got a $500 per day penalty for noncompliance. This filing became a mandatory thing effective January 1st, 2024. When you have to comply by is kind of varies based on when you started your business, but most LLCs and PLLCs operating in the therapy industry are going to have to complete this filing. If you're an individual practitioner operating under your name, your social security number, this probably doesn't apply to you. But if you're unsure, be sure to reach out to your tax professional, your CPA. We're going to walk you through filing this form. It's very easy to do. You don't need to pay somebody to do it. We're going to show you on the screen kind of the general flow. It only takes about 15 minutes, so it's a relatively easy thing to get done and move on with life. Before we give you the kind of step-by-step tutorial, ask you a huge favor. Go down in that comment section, put your questions there, give us a like, and make sure you subscribe to our channel at Semi Private Practice so you get more updates and free tutorials like this. Okay, with no further ado, let's talk about filing your BOI registration, which is your beneficial ownership information registration or filing. This form is designed to help the government see who exactly owns LLCs and PLLCs, just so that there's no money laundering going on or using shell companies to hide taxability or things like that. It's really not something that you need to be scared of, especially since most of us are running very small businesses. The information that you include in this filing, including your tax ID numbers, things like that, you also do not need to worry about those things getting out there and getting into the wrong hands. This is private information that the government holds on to, very similar to when you file your tax return. It's not available through a FOIA, a Freedom of Information Act request, and it's not part of any searchable database that people can go look up. So don't be afraid of the information you're putting in here. We will also warn you there are a lot of scams going around about this. So if anybody reaches out to you, tells you that you need to get this done, you probably don't need to talk to them. That's probably a scam. The U.S. Treasury has already said they're not going to be making outbound phone calls, emails about non-compliance. So don't take the bait on those. When this form is due by depends on when you started your company. If your company, your LLC, was formed 2023 or earlier, then you have until the end, the last day of 2024, to complete this filing. If you started your business or started a new LLC, a spinoff, a side hustle in 2024, then you've got 90 days from when that LLC or PLLC comes into existence to get this filing done. And if you start anything new in 2025, then you'll only have 30 days. In all cases as well, once you do the filing, if you make a change to any of the key information in there, who's the owner, where the business is located, even the owner's address, personal address, then you have 30 days to do an updated filing, or you could run into penalties again that run as much as $500 per day. So let's get started. Let's show you how to file this. You're going to go to the FindCen.gov website. This is a U.S. Treasury subsidiary. The website is FindCen, FINCEN.gov. Once you're on the website, you're going to scroll down, as you can see on the screen here, and you are going to click on the beneficial ownership information circle, and that's going to take you to the main filing page. On that filing page, you'll see a lot of resources, a lot of FAQs and PDFs that you can go in and learn more about this if you have questions or concerns. But if you're just filing, we're going to go to the light blue box on the right where it says File, and we're going to click on File a Report using the BOI e-filing system. Once we go to that screen, we're going to, again, scroll down to the left, and we're going to go to File BOIR. And then we're going to use the online option there. If you made it this far, you can use the online option. Would not recommend using the PDF version. So when we click on that, we're going to get a warning. Go ahead and read that and click agree if you're comfortable. Nothing scary there for me. The first box you see on the form is going to be a set of radio buttons. There's going to be one that says initial report. If this is the first one of these you're filing, then that's the box you're going to, or the button you're going to click. Correct report, update report, those are not ones that you need to use at this time if this is your initial filing. And the newly exempt entity tab is actually for businesses that did file, but now are considered an exempt entity. If you're not sure if you're an exempt entity and you're still unclear on whether or not you need to file one of these or who in your organization needs to be listed on the filing, go to our website, semi-privatepractice.com. We've got a 1-hour CEU available on this topic. You can go through and kind of learn all the ins and outs, what the 23 exempt industries or situations are, et cetera. So we're going to click the initial report button. We're going to scroll down. We're going to speed read this Privacy Act and Paperwork Reduction Act notice and click next. Then we're going to see a couple boxes. Request to receive a FineSend ID. We're going to skip that. You can do that if you want. It will provide you with an alternative identification number, kind of like your NPI. But since this information is being held by the same people that ultimately view our tax returns and things like that, we're not worried about getting a separate FineSend ID. You're also not a foreign pooled investment vehicle, so we're not going to click either one of those boxes. As we scroll down, we see legal name and alternate names. This is where you're going to put in the legal name of the business, that first box, number 5. You're going to want that to match exactly with how you're filed with your Secretary of State or whoever else approved your LLC, PLLC, or even a corporation. The alternate name, number 6 there, is going to be if that LLC or corporation is using a trade name or a DBA, a doing business as. And you're going to want to include one of those lines there for each alternative name that you're using. Side note, if you're just an individual practitioner who created the business under your own name and you're using your own tax ID number, and you're also using a DBA, but it's not an LLC, then you probably don't need to add anything there or even be doing this filing. Then we go down to the forms of identification. This is where they're going to ask you to identify your business with the government using whatever kind of ID there that you select. So most common is going to be your EIN, your employer identification number. This is the number that you receive from the IRS. If you don't have one, you can go get one very quickly online for free at irs.gov. If you have an alternative type of ID number, social security number, some type of foreign tax identification number, you would put them there. Box number 9 is not something you're going to click unless you chose a foreign entity. Your company was set up in a foreign country. Jurisdiction of formation or first registration, box number 10. This is going to be where you select what country or U.S. territory you were set up in. For the vast majority of listeners here, you're going to choose the United States of America. You scroll down further and you're going to put your current U.S. address for the business. This is going to be your main location of operations, where you get your mail, etc. As a side note, the government is currently saying you cannot use a P.O. box for this address. So even if you have a P.O. box established for your business, you're going to need to use a physical address. If you're an owner who uses a P.O. box, you're probably going to want to use your own residential address here, even though you will list it elsewhere in this filing as well. So same kind of stuff there, U.S. territory, state, zip code. You want that to match as close as possible to whatever is on file already with your Secretary of State. We're going to click the next box there, and then we're going to go to the company applicants. Company applicant refers to the person filling out the form. If your company existed before January 1st of 2024, you're going to click that existing reporting company box, and it's going to give you an opt-out, and you would click yes, and that will allow you to skip this section where you have to register who is actually completing the form, even if they're different than an owner. If your company, your LLC, PLLC, corporation was created on or after January 1st, 2024, then you will need to fill out this section as well, including the company applicant's residential address. So we're going to click existing reporting company here to kind of skip this section for now. Then we're going to go next. This is where you start filling in the beneficial owners of the company. A beneficial owner is going to be anybody that owns 25% or more of the company or has substantial control over the operations of the company, even if they're not an owner. For more clarification on that, there's kind of a long list of things that would make you a substantial control party besides being an owner. Again, you can go to our CEU that we did on this. You can find that at semiprivatepractice.com in our store there. And we will walk you through all that and give you an hour of NBCC CEUs for your time. If you did get a FineSend ID, you're going to enter it there in 36, but unless you applied for one of those, you're not going to put anything there. If you're an exempt entity, which most of you will not be, you would check that box. Okay, here's where you put in the information for each beneficial owner or substantial control party. Again, you want this to match your legal ID that you're going to use as part of this. You are going to be required to upload a photocopy or a scan of a government-issued ID that is not expired. You want to make sure your name, your date of birth, right down to the suffix, right? Are you junior? Are you senior? What are you? Those all need to match. Then you're going to include your residential address. This is actually where you live. Now that can feel a little creepy that they're asking for that, but that is what is required of this filing. If you do change your residential address, again, you have 30 days to go in and update this form. Then your form of identification and issuing jurisdiction, this is where you're going to put in things like your state-issued driver's license or your U.S. passport. You're going to put in the identifying number, so your driver's license or passport number. And then you're going to select the country, the state, et cetera, that issued that government ID. And then down there at the bottom, identifying document image, you're actually going to upload a picture of the document where that identifying number is. Again, this needs to be a non-expired, valid government-issued ID. From there, we get to the last page, and that's where we're going to click I agree. If we agree that this is all honest and we've been transparent, we're going to click the I am human button, and we're going to click next. As a reminder, that was a very quick version where we were just going over what it looks like to apply or to register this for a single beneficial owner. Back on that beneficial owner page, if we go back, you can see down at the bottom that there's, or up at the top, there is a ability to list multiple beneficial owners up here in the top right corner. Add beneficial owner. So if there's 2 or 3 or 4 of you that own a company, 25% or more, as well as people that control the company, you would theoretically click that button and add the information for every person that files. Again, we hope that is helpful. That's a quick overview. If you are feeling stuck on that, please go talk to your CPA or your attorney. Please do us a favor, as always, and click subscribe to this channel. You get updates on this topic as well as other important topics, tools, and resources to grow your practice. As always, we thank you. Visit us at semiprivatepractice.com. Check out our continuing education, our groups for practice owners. We'd love to see you again soon.